When did you realize you were the villain in someone else's story? It happened gradually over 3 years, and I didn't understand until it was too late to fix anything. There was this kid in my grade who was really nice and popular with everyone. He was like the main character in one of those coming-of-age movies where the underdog eventually wins. My friends all liked him, but we were never close because I could tell he didn't like me at all. It started in 7th grade when we both joined the cross-country team. He was pretty good and worked really hard at practice, but I was just naturally faster without really trying. I didn't think much about it since I wasn't trying to compete with him specifically. Our school only took the top 7 runners to the big meets, and I was always number 7 while he was number 8. He missed every important race because of me and had to watch from the sidelines. Then we both joined wrestling and ended up in the same weight class. There were only 2 spots for competitions, and one was taken by this experienced kid who destroyed both of us in practice. That left me and him fighting for the 2nd spot, and I kept beating him by just a little bit each time. He never got to wrestle in a single meet because I was always just slightly better. But it wasn't just sports where this happened. I was also the computer nerd at our school, and he loved computers too. We were both in computer club trying to write basic programs on the old Apple computers in the lab. I wasn't great at programming, but I was always 2 steps ahead of him. Every time he learned something new, I had already figured it out. We were actually very similar people with the same interests, which is probably why this whole situation was so painful for him. By 8th grade, he had started giving me the cold shoulder completely. He was never mean or said anything bad, but he would avoid me and seemed genuinely upset whenever I was around. I might never have understood what was happening if it wasn't for what happened at the winter dance. I had a huge crush on this girl and awkwardly asked her to go with me. She said yes, and we went together and had a great time. Afterwards, we dated for about 3 weeks before breaking up like most middle school relationships do. Later, I found out through mutual friends that he had asked her to the dance first, but she turned him down. She saw him as just a friend, but had a crush on me instead. Apparently, he had been complaining to her about me for months before I even knew who she was. She said he would vent about how some guy kept beating him at everything and making his life miserable. When she realized I was that guy, she felt really bad for him. Our final encounter happened the summer before high school at a local 10-kilometer race. My sister was running, and my mom dragged me along at 5 in the morning. I hadn't trained for anything that long since our school races were only 1.5 miles. I just decided to run it anyway and see what happened. I struggled towards the end, but managed to finish with a decent time. At the awards ceremony, they announced winners for different age groups. I was shocked to hear my name called for first place in the under 14 category. Turns out there were only 2 people in that age group, and I had beaten him by 15 seconds. When I looked at him from the podium, I saw pure hatred in his eyes. I felt terrible taking that medal, knowing I had just beaten him one more time completely by accident. We went to different high schools after that, and I never saw him again. I kept wrestling and always secretly hoped we would face each other so he could finally beat me and get his revenge. Looking back, I realized I was probably the worst thing that happened to him during those 3 years. Every time he tried something new or wanted to achieve something, I was there ruining it without even meaning to. I never got to apologize or explain that I wasn't trying to hurt him.